Hello everyone. In the previous session we have discussed about the fundamental accounting concepts which were going concern concept, consistency concept and accrual concept. Now in this session we will discuss some other concept. So let's begin with the business entity concept. So according to business entity concept, business is treated as separate entity from its owner, or we can say the owner of a business is considered separate from the business he owns, and the business transaction should be recorded from the firm's point of view and not from the proprietor's viewpoint. So the proprietor is treated as a creditor of the business, and whatever the capital which is invested by the proprietor is always treated as a liability of the firm, because it is assumed that the firm has borrowed fund from its own proprietors instead of borrowing it from outside parties. That is why we allow interest on capital and treat it as an expense of the business. See how proprietor is treated as a creditor of the business. We will understand this with an example. For example, we borrow some amount from the bank as a loan, and after some time we have to repay that amount along with the interest. In the same way, the proprietor provides the amount which is known as capital to the business, and the businessman has to repay that amount with the interest, and that interest is known as interest on capital. So in this way, proprietor is treated as a creditor of the business. Next is money measurement concept. So money measurement concept means only those transactions and events are recorded in accounting which are expressed in terms of money. Although there are many transactions which affects the business, but they are not recorded in the books of account because they are not expressed in terms of money, like strike, efficiency of management, quarrel between production and sales manager. All these affects the business, but it cannot be measured in terms of money. So these transactions will not be recorded in the books of accounts. For example, if a business on a particular day has 50,000 in cash, 5,000 kilograms of raw material, 10,000 kilograms of finished goods, 5 machines, 100 chairs, 20 fans. So all these things cannot be added up unless it is expressed in terms of money. So in order to make the record of these transactions, these will have to be expressed in terms of money, such as cash rupees 50,000, raw materials of rupees 2,50,000, final goods of rupees 5 lakh, machinery rupees to 20 lakh. So all these items are now expressed in terms of money, so it will be recorded in the books of accounts. So the next concept is accounting period concept. So according to this concept, the users of financial statements needs to know the results of the business at frequent interval. Therefore 12-month period is usually adopted for this purpose. We can take the example of school also. The overall result of the student is declared at the end of academic year, and this academic year consists of 12 months. So 12 months period is adopted for declaring the overall result of the student. Now according to amendment income tax law, a business has to compulsorily adopt financial year beginning on 1st April and ending on 31st March in the next calendar year. So business का financial year शुरू होता है 1st April से and end होता है 31st March को. And apart from this, the stock exchange companies are required to publish quarterly result to ascertain the profitability and financial position at the end of 3 months period. Next is cost concept or historical cost concept. So according to this concept, an asset is recorded in the books of account at the price at which it was acquired, and since the acquisition cost relates to the past, it is called historical cost. Which means जिस कॉस्ट पे हमने उस असेट को एक्वायर किया है, हम उसी कॉस्ट पे उसको रिकॉर्ड करेंगे, वही कॉस्ट हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट कहलाती है. क्योंकि आज के डेट में अगर उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू इंक्रीज़ हो रही है या डिक्रीज़ हो रही है, फिर भी हम उसको उसके ओरिजिनल या एक्विजिशन कॉस्ट पे ही रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. दैट इज़ वाई इट इज़ कॉल्ड हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट. For example, if a business entity purchases a building for rupees 20 lakh, it will be recorded in the books at this figure. Even if after 2 years later the market value of the building shoots up to 60 lakh, the increased value of asset or machinery will not be recorded in the books of account. And this concept doesn't mean that assets will be continuously shown at their acquisition price for as long as the business entity owns them. Their cost is reduced from year to year by depreciating the value of asset. And there are various justification of historical cost concept. So the first justification is it is objectively verifiable, as the cost recorded is derived from the actual transaction and not from arbitrary determined. Next justification is going concern concept. It is justified by going concern concept as the enterprise will continue its activities, no need of using the current values. Third justification is it is difficult to determine the current or market value, and the valuation by one expert will not be as same as that of another. And the last justification is it is extremely difficult to keep the track of up and down of market price. Next is dual aspect concept. So according to this concept, every transaction affects at least two accounts. One account is debited and the other is credited. Means जब भी एक ट्रांजैक्शन होती है तो वो दो अकाउंट्स में इफेक्ट करती है. एक डेबिट होता है, दूसरा क्रेडिट होता है. And recording transaction based on this principle is called double entry system. So dual aspect concept basically means every transaction affects at least two accounts. If one account is debited, the other account must be credited. And because of this concept, the two sides of balance sheet are always equal. Balance sheet consists of two sides. One is asset side and the other is liabilities side. So how balance sheets are equal? See, whenever a transaction is to be recorded, it has to be recorded in two or more accounts to balance the equation. So if a transaction affects the one side of equation, it will also affect the other side of equation. Or we can say increase on one account and decrease on another account on the same side of equation. So equation remains balanced whenever a transaction takes place. That is why balance sheets are always equal. So we have discussed some of the concept in this session. The rest of the other concept and the accounting convention we will discuss in next session. So that's all for today. Thank you.